If you would permit me, I'll speak in English.
Yes.
Yeah, go.
First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to His Excellency and to Madame Alami for inviting me to this esteemed board. I got two types of answers. I have a technical answer, and they do have what I call an adaptive answer. So I start with the technical one with easy solutions. So if you're asking me how our competencies overseas could work with our students here in Morocco, definitely I will go through a long list. Assistance in advising, this is very important. Supervision and coaching, this is very important. Tutoring, assistance in locating a scholarship, assistance in integration of students, assistance in helping students who come overseas, visiting professors. I heard the example of my colleague here talking about the possibility of an adjunct professor coming to Morocco. Definitely, I think I've met with a good number of professors who have an entire year off. They were on sabbatical, would like to come to Morocco, spend some time there. What are the possibilities? And here I'm not just talking about professors, I'm also talking about practitioners in various fields. They would like to come to Morocco and just volunteer just their time. They don't even expect to be paid. So there has to be some organizational structure that helps with that. Definitely something that is low cost, and COVID has shown us that it's possible. It's what's called the virtual exchange programs. So as you know, many universities around the world, they do have an established exchange program where the student goes to another country, spends some time, but definitely in the last 6 or 7 years, we've seen a booming of virtual exchange programs, which is also a form of support, supervision, that is, the beautiful thing about it is that it taps something super important, which will bring me to the adaptive question that I will answer later on. Where is the beauty? The beauty is that the Moroccan student here doesn't get the assistance. It actually, the student becomes an asset, becomes a resource. And then this student doesn't just work with the professor in the United States, but also he or she could co-work with another student from Vietnam, another student from Senegal, another student from other countries. Because as we know, with the complexity of knowledge right now, we really need diverse teams. Without diverse teams, we're not going to proceed very, very far. Other examples, always technical, before I come into the complex one actually, is according to the OECD 2017 study, this 2017 study said the data for 2010, 2011 in terms of Moroccan students who have completed their higher education overseas is a very interesting number. It's 425,000 students. That's a huge number of Moroccans overseas. Some of them are second generation Moroccans. First generations are moving from here. This is why I heard another colleague say this in a previous panel. Expertise is not just waiting for the person till he becomes or she becomes top-notch. Once this person is a graduate student, that's an expertise that we need to tap, because again, it's in their best interest to work with us. Because again, they get documentation that they've been part of a partnership, that they get credit for, so it's more of a massification of support and collaboration between students. I'm not going to spend too much on the technical one, because I'm very interested in the adaptive one, if you would humor me. I think most of you know one of the basic questions we ask in Change is start with why. It's not my question, it's a question that's asked by a big number of leaders, especially in Change leadership. Simon Sinek. Why? Because again, the question that I'm asked is what? But the foundational question is why would they do it? Why is it important? Because it's not just about them getting excited, but we want to secure the sustainability of their excitement. That's the most important thing. So again, I'm going to boldly say that yes, it is adapted to Morocco as well, because again, social exchange theory talks about three things. People do things and care about three things if they meet three requirements. Number one, you minimize costs to that person in that transaction. Number two, you maximize the reward of that transaction. It's very important. And number three, I'm blanking on number three here, is you promote trust. What I've heard in all the panels that I've had the honor to attend today is we're really, from a policy point of view, from an adaptive point of view, it's critical that we do not just get them to be excited, but sustain their excitement. We sustain their excitement through transparent systems, but at the same time through a rewarding system where, again, it is in their best interest to work with the Moroccans, not just because they feel good about Morocco or they love Morocco. Again, it's part of our maturation as a country is we want people to work with us because it's a privilege to work with us. We want people to work with our universities because it's a privilege to work with our universities. Which brings me to a very important piece, which is the internationalization of the campus. This is where, like, when you to conduct an evaluation of any US university, one of the indicators, performance indicators, is the extent to which, or what is the internationalization strategy of the university and how it is implementing that. Because again, as you know, the United States is not just a net importer of the top importer of students coming to the United States, but it's also a super considerable exporter of American students coming and going to other countries and living in other countries. And this is also a really important low-hanging fruit that we need to seize as part of making sure that that support for our students is not just, as I said, a student, a learner, learning from the master, but peers working with each other, because that's how we construct knowledge.